want to bring in Satyajit into this conversation as well.
Thank you, sir.
Satyajit, appreciate you being here and thank you for taking out the time on a Sunday and speaking to us. This was an important cause and that's why it was imperative that you be here. You've heard what the student has gone through. We've already seen the kind of, for the lack of a better word, the troubles that have come about with the NEET examination being cancelled in May and then the re-NEET and now this mix-up of results. How do you think something like this, something so sensitive, can be resolved or perhaps not even be there if there are, technological resolutions to this?
Hey, good evening, Vineet, and good evening, all my fellow speakers. See, we currently have an issue which must be viewed with balance. I'm being very clear. Why? Because there are two different questions right now before us, Vineet. First of all, there might be a candidate who submitted an AI-generated or a manipulated OMR sheet. Okay, there might be. And they're claiming it to be an original document. And if that is established, through investigation, yes, it is a very serious criminal offense. And I have other speakers who might speak better on this topic. However, such acts, if at all being done by some miscreants, will mislead the authorities, not only weaken the credibility, and they will also weaken the credibility of genuine grievances. Okay, so we need to also be very careful that though these fabricated complaints might be there, but every complaint of every single candidate might not be fabricated. So every representation made by a candidate, first of all, deserves to be examined, objectively, thoroughly, transparently, and on the basis of verifiable evidence. So the real issue, if I say, is trust in the examination system. And we could see this right from the time the first NEET examination had to get cancelled. So there is a, trust issue or a trust deficit in that examination system. Now, when more than 20 lakhs people or more than 2 million people are appearing for such an examination, the system has to be secure. The system has to be transparent and independently, verifiable. Okay. So when I say, it's very simply put that if I have security without transparency, it creates suspicion. However, on the other hand, if I have transparency without security, that creates vulnerability. So both of them has to coexist. Okay. And we all understand that artificial intelligence, Vineet, is a double-edged sword. I understand it can be misused to create forged documents, but the same AI can be deployed by examination authorities to detect, if there is any image manipulation or if there is any document tampering or any, digital forgery is being done. So this, controversy, the entire controversy that we are into today should become an opportunity for reform, I would say, Vineet. The government has already announced that NEET UG from next year onwards will be moving into a CBT mode, a computer-based testing mode, which is definitely a welcome step and a robust CBT ecosystem, which will significantly reduce risks associated with paper printing, transportation, storage, OMR handling. All this will not exist at all in that CBT mode. However, we need to remember that when we are taking that step, which we have already announced and we have already agreed as a country, we need to have that permanent, dedicated, secure, standalone, exclusive CBT infrastructure made available in the country to actually welcome that, reform that has already been announced.
You're absolutely right, Satyajit, and you're spot on.